Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Aquarius. So, the sun is now in Gemini, and Gemini is giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And we're going to the right because we are going to your full moon. And the full moon you get in your opposite sign, which is Leo. So here we have the lovers, the number 6. And here we have the star, the number 17. The 6 is the hexagram, and here the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, the 5, the Hierophant, and the 2, the High Priestess in the Roman numbers. So there are 3 energies combining that Apollo is sitting here at the porch or in front of the Taj Mahal and pointing with the light out to the right. And so to the left is the introverted, to the right is the extroverted energy. Full moon, new moon, right? And so today, this moment is very specific. It exists only once a year, but if we include the other planets, then this moment exists really only once in your life. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is, of course, the mind, the language, and in the tarot, Mercury is the magician. You are ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the new beginning, is that step out from the normal, and is in the tarot the Fool. So we're gonna look, of course, at Mercury through Gemini. We're gonna look at the Sun through Gemini, and we're gonna look at Uranus and also at the moon through you. And so it's going to be a very interesting combination because I changed the style of my reading a little bit, but you will see it's gonna make sense. You are, of course, Aquarius, the visionary, and connected with the 11th house of community and technology. And the technology, we know, is playing a bigger part more and more. We know how important it is to know that we have the power to recognize that we are connected. We're not just the 99% that are ruled by the 1%. Now the 99% is realizing that it can actually boycott the 1%, right? So here in this deck, the mystical healer, you have actually a masculine and a feminine King of Swords. And you can pick which one feels right to you, right? And so the number 11 is here with the 1-1 in a way already leading the path, right? And this is the connection right now between Sun in Gemini. We're going to look at the Sun in Gemini, and Moon in your sign. We're going to look at the Moon, what the Moon, the subconscious, is letting you know. And this is then the reading. Back to the last one, where Taurus Sun gave you the light to the Aquarius Moon. Remember, the past and the present can only be lived in the now. And that message was, right, because I can see what's happening here, was very interesting because sometimes the message in the front is very clear. It kind of like just is like an accumulation after I edited the video. And so today we're gonna look what is coming up here with this combination. Good. So the Fool is bringing you Temperance. Temperance is Sagittarius. Now what's really interesting here in the Visconti Sforza Tarot here, one of the oldest tarot decks that is intact, there is no stream between these two cups. Now, was this done consciously, or is it something that we have to feel that this is happening? And so Uranus, right, the Fool, this foolish idea, it's almost saying you gotta connect with what is really important, and that's because the Sun is in Gemini, and these two cups are basically these two people, right? Gemini is opposite of Sagittarius. Gemini is giving the light now to Sagittarius full moon, which happened a few days ago. And so I think that full moon did something to you. And remember, in the yoga position, Gemini is King Pigeon, reaching back to the feet, reaching and opening your heart and looking up and seeing that deep within, right? We are all connected, and so something really special is coming here. It's almost like saying, yes, remember that full moon, you were really in a very sensitive state of consciousness, and so here Temperance, the number 14, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the Emperor create then the 5, then the 5 that is here in the Roman number, the Hierophant. And the Hierophant was Taurus last reading. So you see, everything is really connected. And Sagittarius is saying, well, you gotta connect now these two cups. You gotta feel the stream of consciousness. And this is why I love what I do, right? Because this is something that is telling you, you gotta look deeper. Now, we have, through the moon, right, the Queen of Swords coming. And the Queen of Swords is looking out. She is a Libra. And where is she looking at? She is looking at the overflow, right? And so you see how she is also looking slightly down. It's like, because the card is so big, she is looking down at her, but she's up here in a balloon, and she is looking at the overflow. And it's very interesting because it's almost like this crazy idea is letting you know, look deep into your subconscious, because this is what the moon does. The moon brings up energies that we thought that have been forgotten. And so maybe there is a Libra making you remember that the overflow is here, the number 43, and the 4 is the Emperor and the 3 is the Empress. And together they create the emotional intelligence. And Libra is the 7th zodiac sign, so there's a 7-7 portal. Very clearly, something is letting you know this is very special. There is an overflow in your life, and a Libra is helping you to see it, because you are the King of Swords and she is the Queen of Swords. So there is a masculine approach to see the overflow, because there are the two energies inside of the 43, the Emperor and the Empress, right? And so together it's the 7. But then I wanted to, of course, also see what is bringing here the overflow, and it's the 7 of Swords, which is Moon in Aquarius. And so Moon in Aquarius is happening right now. The Moon is in Aquarius. And so you need to observe what you're looking at. And it's really interesting because she's totally looking at the number. She's not seeing the overflow. She's not seeing the picture. She is seeing the two numbers. And so when you unite the Emperor and the Empress, then you get a 7, 7, 7. And yes, it's reverse. Maybe when it's reverse, it means that you are not needing to do negative things anymore, because the 7 of Swords is that inner doubt, is the victim, that you think you are a victim of something, is maybe because here the stream of consciousness is not flowing. And she is looking at her and she is literally saying, hey, what do you see? Tell me what you see, right? It's almost like the full moon made you look at this and say, what am I seeing? And I see the 43. And reverse, the 7 of Swords is letting you know that the fox is not able to go to the chickens. And the chickens, usually the fox loves to eat them. Right? And so the 7 of Swords is upright. A fox figures out a way into the chicken coop. Now reverse, it's saying she no longer needs to plan her every move. She may be able to be more direct and not manipulate. She needs to make amends if she hurts someone. And so I think here in the overflow, you are now recognizing that this overflow is something that you deserve in the 7-7, 3 times 7, right? It's powerful because the 3 is the Empress, the 3 is the power chakra, and the 7 is the emotional intelligence, is also the 7th chakra. And so this is very beautiful that the moon is bringing you in your subconscious this beautiful message. Then we have, of course, Mercury, right? Mercury brings you the eagle. And the eagle, look at this, the 16 is again a 7. So the 16 is usually in the tarot, the tower. And the tower is Mars. And Mars is, of course, the emperor, right? The 4 here. So here we see the magician bringing you a higher consciousness, bringing you a message of a higher consciousness. Mercury, right? Remember, the magician is Mercury bringing you the eagle, bringing you the perspective from a higher vantage point. And this is what the eagle does. He sees from above everything. And both of them are facing the right side. And so here, the eagle is again a 7. So you have 4 times the 7. Look at this. Then, of course, I wanted to see what is here the magician bringing you, and it's the 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles is saying that this is Venus in Virgo. And so the 9 here is letting you know that there is a garden, because this is the Grand Eteia Egyptian Tarot, right? And so here the 9 of Pentacles is saying this card represents the fulfillment of any project. And so the eagle is saying, yes, land, and you know you're landing in the 9, which is in the garden, Venus in Virgo, and Venus is here in the overflow with the 3. So you have, right, here the 7 and the 9, and when we calculate that together, we get the 16 again, and the 16 is the 7. So the 7 is left. But I also wanted to see what brings here the eagle, and the 5 of Wands is coming. And the 5 of Wands is Saturn in Leo. And Saturn in Leo is something that you need to observe clearly, because Leo is opposite of you. And Leo is giving you the light for your full moon in the month of August. So it's very important that you understand that Saturn in Leo is that you are testing yourself here with the other priestesses. And it's facing to the left. It's almost like there's a spiritual question. There's a spiritual act happening. And so the 7 and the 5 is the 12. And the 12 is the hangman. And the hangman is this moment where you're spiritually awakening. And then the 3 is left. And in the overflow, the 3 is here. Right? See that the 3 is the Empress. see that you understand clearly that 4 times the 7 is bringing you a deeper understanding of a higher consciousness is wanting to be lived through you. And so the 3 is left here through Mercury, right? Remember, this is Mercury story telling you you are the eagle, you are the Venus in Virgo in the garden, but you also need to always test yourself. Life is always a test. Life is being lived through the 5 senses. Then the sun. The sun is bringing you the water, the number 29. And the 29 we see is the 20, which is the last judgment, which is the calling. And then, of course, the 9 is the hermit. And the hermit is the one that understands that everything has a specific moment, particularly here with Venus in Virgo. The woman that is fulfilled, the woman that has everything, the fulfillment of, we cannot feel even more complete and fulfilled. So here we have an 11, and the 11 is what makes you the 11th zodiac sign. It's your number, right? And so here the 11 is talking. Then, of course, I wanted to see what is Gemini bringing you, and Gemini brings you the 3 of Wands, which is Sun in Aries. And so when you see the 11 here and the 3, it's almost like a date, the 11th of March or the 3rd of November. And so here the 11 brings you to you, but there are 6 birds inside, and the 3 of Wands are here. And the 3 of Wands is that moment where you are noticing everything has a very specific way of talking to us, and so is this in this reading. But I wanted to see what brings here the water, and the water brings you the Sun of Discs. And the Sun of Discs is Virgo, right? And so Virgo is here through the 9. Virgo is here through the 9 of Pentacles, which is Mercury in Virgo. Mercury brought you the eagle, and the eagle is saying land, right? Understand that there is empowerment in landing, in knowing that the emotions are important, that you are recognizing the overflow is water, and that you are learning a big deal here, something, right? And so the 11 and the 3 I do not calculate together because it's a portal, and here this is the 6 zodiac sign, so the 6 and the 3 is the 9. And the 9 again is bringing you the understanding that you have arrived in a completion. You have arrived in a very beautiful place. And this is what the Sun is bringing you through Gemini, right? And the Sun is saying, then feel fulfilled. Feel that you have everything. The only thing is that this is also reverse, right? And so see that he is pointing at here this direction, right? He's aiming his arrow at this point, but when it's reversed, it's saying, well, you're not really there yet, and so you gotta take those waves, you gotta make sure that you arrive, right? Because in a way it's like then a 9/11, that's also a date, right? The 9/11, the 9th of November, right? Or the 11th of September. And so see which date is talking to you, which one is giving you the deep understanding of what is talking here to you. Then comes the King of Swords, and you have a masculine and a feminine King of Swords. And you get the 5 of Cups. Now this is an 11, right? And this is a 5. So this could be the 11th of May or the 5th of November. Again, there is a date. Now, here you have 5 flowers. You have 3 flowers that fell down. You have 2 in the tree. You do not have any other water energy, but you have the flow, which is water. So the 7 and the 5 is the 12. And you have the water here as well. So you have the 11 and you have the 12. The 12 is the 3, the 3rd of November or the 11th of March, right? Again, notice how dates are coming up because I do not calculate portals together. And so you are in a state of sadness. This is Mars in Scorpio, the 5 of Cups. And Mars is really something that you ought to understand. Mars comes here through the Emperor, the 4, right? And also here through the Sun in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Learn to connect. Learn to connect to everything that is talking here. Because this sadness is good. It's a good sadness. Learn that here is a 5-5 portal through the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Cups. And in that 5-5 portal, you realizing something. You understand that the learning of the way I take actions and whatever I learn out of that, these 2 5s, right? This is like I am understanding the Hierophant because you have the 5 in your card, right? Here, the 5 as the Hierophant. And you need to understand that your yoga position is reaching up like a star, right? Like a 5-pointed star, like the head, the 2 arms, and the 2 feet. And that's where the 5 comes. Sometimes we learn through the 5s the most. And the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Cups, it's almost like this is connecting something. And together it's a 10, but I don't calculate this together. It's a 5-5 portal. But you're learning something here, right? It's almost like the eagle is landing, and on his landing he is immediately learning to fight because it's facing to the left, and he's landing, and you see this. And then we have also this here, the overflow, and she's looking over, and she is looking out for you, she is helping you. And something is saying you gotta at one point also go out and have fun, but there's also other things that are blocking you that are not really there yet. The 7, this is a good reverse, right? You are not needing to be a victim anymore. You not need to doubt yourself. You are an eagle that is landing, and whatever you're learning through the tears and through the actions, it's something that is important for you, right? So the 5-5 portal is almost like saying, yes, you are learning something very powerful, because I'm just seeing there is a 5 here as well. So you see that this is a 5-5-5, 3 times the 5. So even more powerful, you become empowered through these difficulties. Maybe that's why this is not streaming. Something here is letting you know, awaken to your own inner power, to the 7. You had 4 times the 7, right? And you are awakening. Also here you have the 69, right? It's the 69th card. So the 6 is here. The Lovers is the 6, and Virgo is the 6th zodiac sign. Observe and watch, right? And see 3 times the 5. It's like this is a challenge. And so one cup is here the 5 of Wands, and the other cup is the 5 of Cups. So interesting. And it happened on the full moon in Sagittarius. Something happened there, and you gotta look at it. You gotta awaken it, because in your deck the Lovers look like this. Look at this. And so learn to accept that one is like this and the other one is like this. One gives and the other one receives, right? One is a bird and the other one is a human, and somehow they become similar. And you see now the difference between the Lovers. This is your deck and this is the deck for Gemini. But on the full moon of Sagittarius, something happened, and so this is really important. You need to understand this 3 times 5, but also the 4 times 7, right? And so I think it's clear. You gotta feel the stream of consciousness. You gotta do whatever it takes, right? Here, Saturn in Leo, and here, Mars in Scorpio, right? How different this can be, right? And so you learning to understand that certain energies are pushing us to awaken, and certain energies, they are pushing us to arrive, right? And this is what this is doing. And so I think this is the end of the reading, right? You are awakening to something here. Gemini is literally saying, well, recognize the opposite. One is dark and one is light. One is human, one is bird. And when we combine them, when we bring the masculine and the feminine together, then it's flowing. Then we're in the 7. And she's looking at it. She's looking at this. And she's like letting you know, well, you really understand that now. And so it's really beautiful, right? Also here the 7, right? 4 times the 7, remember. 4 times the 7 is you understand in your heart that the higher consciousness is uniting the elements, uniting the masculine and the feminine, uniting so that you can learn and grow. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when the sun is in Cancer, and Cancer is the number 7, right? Is the 7. And so the 7 is the emotional intelligence. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.